Hello, welcome. You're listening to Season 3 of Narcolepsy Navigators, brought to you by Naps for Life CIC. Narcolepsy Navigators is a podcast for raising awareness of these fascinating illnesses through a deep dive into the lives and individuals living with narcolepsy, idiopathic hypersomnia, and Klein-Levin syndrome. I'm Kerry Boga, the founder of Naps for Life CIC, and welcome to our stories. Hi everyone, and welcome to Narcolepsy Navigators. My name is Kerry, I'm your host.
And I'm Liz, your co-host for today. We both have Narcolepsy Type 1.
Today we have joining us Cristina Romano, and she is living in the US. And our topic today is narcolepsy and humor. So, Cristina, how's your week been going?
Been good. I've been a little tired, but I manage. I take naps as much as I can. And this little one back here keeps me busy. It's actually funny because sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and take him outside because I know he needs to go. My husband was laughing at me the other day. And I'm sound asleep over here and you're just like 0 to 60. You get up and you say, but I'm tired. But that's what you do when you have pets. I've been studying this week. I'm trying to study. Trying to read, and the reading part is a little hard because I fall asleep within the first couple of sentences. So it's like I have to reread and start over and then read again. And
what topic?
I'm studying for an EMT test, so to be a first responder.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Liz, how's your week been?
My week has been good. It's been very full on with work, and I'm also working tomorrow, which is usually my day off. So trying to conserve a bit of energy, which is hard, basically just coming home from work and sleeping most of the evening away. I think it will get easier after this week. So I'm just holding on to that and thinking, even though I've only got a 2-day weekend this weekend, I will have an extra day off next week to make up for the day I'm working tomorrow. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm hoping it's sunny on the few days I have off next week.
Yes, we haven't been having fun, so that would be really nice if that came through.
Yes, I pray. And how was your week, Carolee?
Yeah, the week went really quickly, actually. It's just shocking that tomorrow's Friday. But I did accomplish, I've started a wig making course and I finished my second wig. So I'm really proud of myself. Yay! So yeah, the week's just gone quick. Like last week was much slower and this week went much faster. Next week back at college, and I'm now up to my 8 tablets of Wakix.
How's that going?
Still feeling no different, but I'm now at max, so onwards, hopefully.
Wow, it makes sense as the maximum, but I didn't realize there was a max. Is that because each tablet's about 4.5 milligrams?
Yeah.
That's about 32 or 35 or something.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the max, but he said to stop at 8 tablets.
How are you feeling if it's not really working for you yet?
I'm disappointed because I'm going back to college on Tuesday, so I'm going to be sleeping in class again. I was hoping the case would have kicked in by now. We're 8 weeks in now.
Yeah.
So
what do you think the next step would be?
Take me off this and then back to square one on nothing until something new comes out.
Wow.
Unless he decides to think that it's not long enough for it to kick in. And he might say, stay on it for a few more months and wait and see. Maybe it will kick in then.
Is it like modafinil where it builds up in your system over time?
That's what he suggested to me, because he said to me that I wasn't a very low dose and I shouldn't expect like miracles yet. Since today was my second day on 8 tablets, if I'm on 8 tablets for 2 months and still feel no different, maybe then they'll be concerned. But maybe this was too early for them to think that it's not working in their mind. We haven't really given it a chance. That question I got from what he said.
It's a long time to wait for the medication to kick in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Agreed. Medication's one of those things that's very difficult. It doesn't agree with my system very much.
Oh,
So
no.
I try a lot of ups and downs, really.
So, Cristina, can you tell us your name, what state you're residing in, your age, if you feel comfortable, and what year you were diagnosed?
So I am Cristina. I am 43 years old. Originally from Philadelphia, now I'm living in New Mexico. Across the country, and it's rural. We live on a farm ranch kind of deal. We have neighbors, but no one kind of talks to each other. Everyone just stays in their own lane. What's that?
It sounds like London.
Oh, really? Philadelphia was a lot more vibrant. I was out and about, and that's where I got diagnosed. I guess it was in college, I want to say. During high school, like when we would go out, I would sit in class and be so tired. My head would be like dragging down. The teacher would be like, go get water, take a walk around the hallway or something, or come back. I had a virus when I was younger, and they think that my immune system took over my brain and decided to take some of the good cells with it. There we go, narcolepsy. I was misdiagnosed for a while. In high school, they thought it was some kind of virus. And they're like, it's just how your body reacts to it. And then they thought it was chronic fatigue. Then they said it was fibromyalgia. That went on for a while. I was at work one day, completely exhausted after lunch, falling asleep at my desk. Because part of what I had to do was to read these documents and then write reports on them to at least get everything set up for my employer. And I sat down at the computer and my head was going, cataplexy, not knowing what it was. Because it was an oral surgery office, we referred patients to the sleep doctor a lot. So I thought, I have the insurance now where I can just go without getting a referral. So I'm just going to call the office and set an appointment. And when I met with the doctor, he was so sweet. He's, yeah, we're going to have to rule out like epilepsy or heart disease. I did have a workup. And then they did the sleep study. They did the EEG first. I had to go to the hospital first thing in the morning, not having slept at all the night before because they keep you awake. He saw some rhythms that were like, okay, we're going to do a sleep study to double confirm what we're seeing on the printouts. So they kept me for longer. I remember sitting in the chair the next day watching TV and my head started going back and forth. And I hit the back of my head on the back of the chair. And they had that on video. And when I was talking to the nurse, he's, yeah, I think we have enough information now. You can just go home early. Supposed to stay for 5 naps. I only did 3. Then I got the results a few weeks later. It was a shock. Definitely a shock, but it was a relief. It's when you feel excited that there actually is something. Even though I don't feel good, I understand why I don't feel good. The other misconception was that I was on substances.
Oh, dear.
Because when people see you falling asleep, they're like, oh, yeah, what are you on? What are you taking? I'm glad that got clear.
You said you worked in a medical place. So had you heard about narcolepsy before?
I had read about it, but I didn't actually
Okay.
understand it. I think this is it. But I wasn't quite sure because they were really strong on the whole fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. They're like, if you have fibromyalgia, you're fatigued, so forth. I went to see a specialist who does physical therapy, like physiology. And he said to me, no, honey, you don't have fibromyalgia.
Uh-huh.
So, good. That's one thing I don't have.
And what age were you diagnosed?
And I think I was in my 20s at that point. She just graduated college. Yeah. So I think I was in my late 20s, maybe.
So
I
you
was
started
still
having, I was going to say you started having symptoms earlier.
much, yeah.
Mm.
It was a long road of waiting for the diagnosis. I think afterwards, I did go through a set of depression for a little bit because you find out there actually is something and it's not quite pleasant. It's not the easiest to handle, but life continues. We grow and we learn through this process. Hey, maybe this will work. Or I know I need to take naps. I know I need to schedule them. I know I need to set the timer. Because what would happen is I would fall asleep a couple minutes into the nap. And then next thing I know, it would be 4 or 5 hours later. And I would wake up like, where am I?
So you mentioned that you were married.
I am married.
Did you meet your husband before you got diagnosed or after?
It was a long time after.
Oh, okay.
We met online. I want to say about 6 or 7 years ago. No, actually longer than that because we've been married for 5 years. I'm so incredibly grateful to be with him. He also has sleep issues too, so he understands. Like he has apnea. It's the mask when he sleeps.
Yes.
Doesn't really like to, but he understands. Okay, it's a brain thing. It's not like you're trying to be lazy. It's
Yeah.
you're just really exhausted.
That's really good. I'm glad you found him and that he's supportive. I think that really helps
Yeah,
to have a supportive family unit or a supportive spouse or partner.
for sure.
Mm.
It's key.
What was it like with your family? Were they supportive? Did they understand? They take the diagnosis?
I feel like there's a lot of denial. I would see my mom falling asleep during dinner. She'd put her head down for a couple of minutes and she's just give me a couple of minutes. I'd see her getting tired. And then my dad leaving dinner and going to the couch and sleeping. I was like, maybe this is it. And they just don't know it. She didn't really believe the diagnosis. Like, she thought the doctor was just trying to put medication in my system. It was pretty wild because I'm watching her have symptoms.
Yeah.
The two of them have, because there's a genetic component.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just denial. She's maybe if you don't sleep during the day, you sleep long at night, you have a good sleep at
Mhm.
night, okay. But I was getting into trouble at work even after medication because I could not wake up. 3 alarms, and I would still get up 5 minutes before it. It was bad. And that was on high doses of medication. I was on a Nuvigil at first, then Provigil, then Adderall. Actually, Adderall was last. And we tried Ritalin, we tried Concerta, we tried Xyrem. The Xyrem worked the best, but it had the most side effects.
Ah.
I was sleepwalking at night and I would hit my head and I would wake up and not know that I hit my head. I didn't even need a cup of coffee the next day.
Dang.
If I'm going to have to walk around with a helmet in my sleep, is that really worth it?
That's so interesting. You'd think that the Xyrem is supposed to make Christina feel so sleepy that it puts her into a deep sleep. Yeah, it was triggering her to walk around in the night, but it was having the best effects in the daytime.
That's wild.
We're both on Xyrem.
I was on the highest dose too. I think what happened was my brain resisted the Xyrem. So it would be like, oh, I feel sleepy. And instead of wanting to sleep, because when I had symptoms of narcolepsy in college, I would feel the urge to sleep. I would be afraid to fall asleep. There is a real fear of falling asleep. I was on the airplane coming home a couple months ago, and I was so afraid to just close my eyes. I was like, if I close my eyes and I fall asleep, then I'm going to feel disoriented when I wake up. The reality is it's okay to fall asleep. The more that I fight it, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Definitely not worth it. Yeah.
I feel like I'm slightly mid-sleep attack right now, so if I'm not really with it, that's why.
No worries. I don't know where my brain will be.
I just ate a big meal, which is probably a mistake, and didn't nap before there. So now I'm like not really on this planet. But
Okay, that's how I got my tea here. Green tea. I think I'm on my second cup already.
what time of day is it there?
It's 1 p.m.
Ah, okay. What do
around just-
your symptoms look like now?
But yeah, it's not pretty. So there were times where I'll be in the middle of doing a cooking show and I'll fall asleep like mid. Or last night, we were at a meeting. It's like one of those where you take a turn to have the floor. I was so tired that I started speaking and then halfway through I REM'd out. I was in REM mode and I was like, I don't remember anything about what I said. I don't even remember the topic. Afterwards, I looked at my husband. I could see people were staring at me. They were looking at me like, are you talking? And I'm like, totally off topic. And they looked at me. What was that? I'm like, I've been out in the middle of this thing.
Don't blame me. You blamed enough.
Thank goodness no one embarrassed me about it or anything. But this is also because I'm unmedicated at the moment. So it's just full on.
What made you come to this decision? If you don't mind.
Sure. The last medication that I was on, I tried Adderall. And when I took it when I was younger, it worked beautifully, except I was on a super high dose, like 70 milligrams or something. And more than enough for the average person. Our brain doesn't respond the same way to, I guess, medication. So we need like a higher dose. Apparently, that was what my sleep doctor explained to me. When I moved here, I couldn't find anybody to prescribe it. I recently got a prescription, I think it was several months ago, and it shook me up because it was a 10 milligram dose. And I realized that it cut my appetite so much that I was starting to count calories on the labels. Like, my brain works better on food. I enjoy my food. I'm a home chef, so I cook at home. I do these creative recipes, which is nice because I get to think on my feet and embrace joy. Sometimes it's okay. Yeah, I'm zonked out. I will actually fall asleep on camera and tag it when I do that. So this is good awareness. I used to get about it, and then I realized we need people to step up and be aware. Hey, this is the reality. This is what happened. Medication's not in everyone's play card.
Yeah.
That's really hard because when I took the Adderall, I had more energy for sure, but I was also distracted a lot. So I was like, I have more things to be distracted about and trying to like stay awake. It's not an easy decision. I wish there was some kind of magic medication that I could just take that would work. But if it made me go back on the Xyrem, but I would just have to wear a helmet.
Or your husband would love that.
I might have to tap out just because I am so sleepy right now. I
No.
nap ASAP.
Okay.
Very sorry, but I will nap before the next one and be more prepared. If I wake up and you're still online, I'll join again.
Sounds great.
All right.
Pleasure.
So, Christina, tell me, I just started Wakits 8 weeks ago. Prior to this, I got taken off Crescenta. I had been on some type of stimulant because, it's always changing when your body gets fed up of it or whatever. From I was 18 till 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's affect my heart, and then they took me off it. I feel what you're saying about when you're not medicated, but I must say what it taught me is to really listen to your body. It's like I'm still not medicated. I have the Xyrem, thank God. I have Xyrem and I have venlafaxine. I survived without that. That is what's controlling my cataplexy. I've always been on medication for cataplexy. I dare not want to experience what it's like not to be on medication for cataplexy because before they put me on Xyrem, I was falling all the time on the streets.
Yeah.
And when the medication is not working for cataplexy, it's a complete disaster. But it did teach me not being on stimulants to really listen to your body. Like I would take my naps now. Before, I would try to push through it because you had the stimulants in your body keeping you a little bit on the upper. But now it's like the body's, no, you need a nap right now. Let's take that nap because things are going to get worse. And then you're going to have cataplexy if you don't take the nap.
Correct. That's a trigger for me.
Yeah. So I feel for you. I'm so impressed with your cooking and stuff, but you like to cook anyway.
I love to cook. I started my account. It's called Gourmet Recovery on Instagram. I started that account because I was having problems with my stomach. And all the doctors put out these restrictive diets and they're like, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that. You got to eat low FODMAP. And so I started to fear food. I started to be afraid to eat. And I teamed up with this intuitive eating principle. And it's a process. It's something that you have to learn to listen to your body. I had to learn to eat on schedule first. And then I was able to understand my cues. And now it's just like free for all. I love my vegetables. I love balancing my meals out. Because if I eat proteins and carbs together, I feel better. It's just overall, my brain is happy. My body is happy. It got food. And it turns out the things that I was afraid to eat that I thought were going to bother my stomach, actually, there's less of them.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's nice. I had to swap out spinach for kale. So I use kale instead of spinach because that's apparently easier on my stomach. Popcorn. I ate popcorn yesterday. The beauty of it is that I have learned to listen to my body and adapt to its needs. I use that when it comes to sleeping. Sometimes it doesn't always work. If we're out on Saturday, I run errands in the morning, get my Starbucks, get my coffee. That's the only day a week that I actually drink coffee because I'm normally drinking tea during the rest of the week. When I get my coffee, I run my errands, I get a massage, and all my husband's at the exercise class, and I took the same class. It's Kung Fu, and I really love it. But right now I'm on break because my hand, I broke my pinky.
Oh, no.
First 2 weeks were bad. And then my shoulder got messed up trying to learn how to walk the dog.
Oh, wow.
Because he realized he can pull.
Oh, dear.
He's joining me underneath. Learning how to walk him was interesting, and especially when I'm exhausted. It's worse. Sometimes when I'm really that tired, I'll get dizzy. I'm fighting sleep. I'm not supposed to, but I'm fighting the sleep. And so on so happens. The body just takes over. Cataplexy takes over. It's not pleasant. I've had to learn to laugh about it because it looks like I'm on some kind of opiate or something. When I drop down to the ground, instead of falling, I get like an aura. So
Falling.
I'll either squat if there's no wall, or I'll lean against the wall and just sit for a minute. People look at you, especially in public, and they're like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? Was something wrong?" And I'm just like, "No, it's
Mhm.
wrong with you. Just don't help me up yet because my legs will not work." I'm like, "It's just my sleep thing. I'll be over right in a minute."
Yeah.
But especially if I'm tired, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I really need to go to the car and take a nap or something before somebody calls the ambulance.
No.
Nothing.
Has anyone ever called the ambulance on you?
No, one of the things we do is I have a bracelet that I wear. I wear it when I'm in public, and I'll just say, "Our safe spot," and just warm, like either blankets or
Yeah.
something, so I can sit or lay still for a few minutes. I also have my dogs. My one dog is older. She's about 10 now. An old lady, but we take her everywhere, claiming that we tell them she's a service dog, which she is. I taught her how to wake me up. She'll start licking my hands, or if I start to cataplexy, she'll lay out in front of me. So I have something to,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's great. And I'm hoping to teach the little one that. He's
Yeah.
a little more high strung. He's a little bit more energy. But hopefully it'll be nice to take him around and teach him other things. So she realizes that I'm starting to go into cataplexy. She'll put her paws on top of me and it's like, "You sit, mom." It makes it more freeing. It allows for more liberty. I can walk around, I go to the store, and like they realize she's there. And they'll say, "Oh, it's the service dog's only." I'm like, "She's a service dog. She doesn't have the paperwork." That's one of the issues I've run into because people confuse the idea of a service dog with, "Oh, you need paperwork, a vest." You don't need any of it. It's not legally required to have a vest and something that's a service dog. It's all based on their behavior. In fact, we took her to a hotel 6 months ago. They had a no pet policy, but we're like, the sitter canceled on us last minute. And she's really going to be quiet in the way. They let her stay, and she did wonderful for the most part. She doesn't like fire, so the fireplace was on. She doesn't like vacuum cleaners. And she got a little anxious, but she's
Apart from that. Yeah.
yeah. He barks. She doesn't. She never barked until he moved in.
Bark. So let's talk about narcolepsy and humor.
Yes.
So how do you use humor to help with your narcolepsy?
It's definitely a coping mechanism for me. And I know the wild part is that laughter shuts off cataplexy, but I see it as a way of if I'm really enjoying myself, like truly enjoying the moment. So what if I end up on the floor? Because the floor is the safest place for me to be. I'd rather be on the floor. And the funny part is, comically, my husband loves to trip me off. He loves to set it off because he gets enjoyment out of it.
It is one of your triggers. Some people have a human trigger as well as some people it's laughter, some people it's anger. It's different emotion is stronger in different people. Like mine is laughter, like yours. But I also have a human trigger. One of my sisters is my trigger person. Yours is your husband.
He enjoys it. I think part of it is he likes to see me drop down. And also, I don't have any filter. I just say what comes out of my mouth. And sometimes it's actually funny. The material itself is funny. I can't make stuff up. I just tell it like it is. That's why I started doing videos, because I realized it can be depressing. It can be sad to have these episodes. And I've seen people have cataplexy on video, and my heart goes out to them. It's a daily choice. Do I get depressed about this, or do I see where it takes me? The other emotion that triggers me is anxiety, though. That's a bad one. The last time I had one of those, I was flying. I love travel. I love going places. It's the takeoff.
Okay.
It's that 0 to 600, that rush.
Yeah.
It's so overwhelming that it's almost like a trigger. And then I have a panic attack. I'm like, I don't know who's watching, who's around me. And then the panic attack just blows out of. I haven't ended up on the floor because I've had my husband next to me and I carry around the sunflower badge.
Yeah.
Especially when we're traveling. Spouse needs to stay with me nearby. And last time we traveled, I foolishly had packed. First of all, I lost my phone. Phone was in a neighbor's car. She had helped me out with the ride the day before. So I'm like, okay, I can't get to the phone. I'll pack everything else. I had my wallet with my credit card inside the car because I didn't check. I left my ID. I wanted to stand there at the TSA and they had to make a phone call. I was so anxious that I was like, I can feel this coming on. And I was like, I just need to sit. Poor officer, she's like, okay, do you want to sit down? I can get you a drink of water, but you have to stay with me and answer these questions. And I'm like, I don't know, babe. Lord. It
Oh, no.
took a little bit longer, but they did let me through. A good time. We had 20 minutes from the time we got off the bus to get to the next flight, and we had to go through security. I had all these old documents. My college ID, I had a paycheck, a pay stub from like years back, something else, and they let me off a little bit easier. They're like, okay, we're going to do a modified scan, and we actually made the flight on time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was scary. I entered into the airport, and when I got on board, my bag wouldn't fit in the overhead. So, of course, I'm like, the poor flight attendant in the aisle, and I know they're not supposed to do this,
Mhm.
you're supposed to put your bags away, but I think she felt so bad for me that she helped me out. And she's like, come on, let's get you back to your seat. I'll get you a glass of water. I felt like I was going to just fall onto the ground in the middle of the airplane. It was anxiety producing. And it turned out to be a really good flight. Oh, they really
No.
took me.
Have you ever used the special assistance service at the airport?
Oh, you know what?
You should
Actually, yeah.
try that next time.
I got a wheelchair
Yeah.
from
Just a
gate to gate.
Yeah, it's really good. I always encourage people with narcolepsy or any type of chronic illness to do this. The
Yeah.
reports are so big, and if you've got bad cataplexy or if you're really tired, you're just gonna look like you're drunk. You look
Yeah.
disoriented and stuff. You're less likely to get help. It's best to just take the special assistant. They'll take
Yeah.
care of you and they'll make sure you get on their plane. And if you fall asleep, it doesn't matter because their job is to make sure you catch your flight.
Yeah, that's why I had the sunflower badge too. 'Cause
Yeah.
it really made the difference last time. Like, I couldn't find it at first. They said to go downstairs and there should be like an information desk that has them, and there weren't any at the information desk. And they're like, okay, go upstairs once you get your ticket. Go upstairs to the make a left, and the office was just about to close. And the guy that was he coming out into the office, and he's looking for a sunflower, right? I was like, yes. He's like, I got you, girlfriend.
Needed one.
It's nice to have people that understand.
So, what misconceptions about narcolepsy would you like changed?
It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of laziness. We're actually bright people who just have a thing with our brain.
Mm.
Just like somebody with epilepsy.
Yeah.
There's no shame in it. There
Mhm.
shouldn't be any shame in it. I was hiding because I felt the shame. And I don't want to feel shame anymore.
Yeah.
It's a brain thing.
Yeah.
And in fact, like when I was younger, I was told, oh, you have to learn to control your laughter or whatever, your emotions are. And I'm like, now that I realize it's cataplexy, I'm like, okay, well, that's different because it's not that I can't control my emotions. It's just my emotions lead to down on the ground, sitting on the floor. Thankfully, I haven't gotten hurt.
That's
There was a step
Mm.
and I forget what set me off. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Isn't that annoying? The joke that happened, the anxiety, the stress, the sleepiness, none of these things seem to have been the thing. And it just
Yeah.
randomly happens.
That's what happened when we were at the mall the other day. I wasn't even tired. It was just like my brain was sleepy. The cashier was talking about his grandmother. And I just like, I was grabbing onto the railing and this person like comes up next to me. Are you okay, miss? Do I need to call an ambulance for you? I'm like, no, we're cool. Give me a minute. I don't want you to fall. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna fall. The nice part about it is my husband's right there.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it has not happened. Oh, actually, I take that back. It did happen. So I was running errands on Saturday and I'm sitting there in the chair, one of the things on my to-do list. Next thing you know, I'm like opening my errands, like, where was I? What number was that? What was I supposed to be doing? Thankfully, no one saw it. Though. Like everyone just paying attention to their own thing. So it's nice. But I'm like, I just fell asleep on the chair. Falling asleep in church.
Oh.
Like, people don't seem to get upset with me if I fall asleep in church. I used to fall asleep in college, and I had one professor that was so completely willing to help me. He let me record his classes, and he let me sleep in his off. He let me sleep during class because he would put the temperature down. It's
Uh,
65. And one of the things is when I feel cold, I hibernate.
yes.
In fact, I always have a heater next to me or something. Because if I'm cold, I will sleep. Even if I don't intend to, it's going to happen. It's just like the cold temperatures are a trigger for the narcolepsy for me.
Yeah. The same part of the brain that has caused the sleeping to be fragmented and to be off. It's the same part of the brain that controls temperature and appetite.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
That's why we can't regulate our temperature.
I would have a coat on in his classroom.
Yeah.
And he let me videotape it and then watch it because he knew that I had straight A's in his class. I was actually on the dean's list twice in college, even with the sleeping attacks.
Wow.
And they can be scary. Some of his auras, like the narcolepsy aura, it's like when you're going into REM and you're awake, it can be very scary. I'm almost afraid to fall asleep because I don't know what's going to happen to me while I'm asleep. Am I going to faint? Am I going to just stop breathing? Am I just going to... Why? Because it almost feels like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
I'm here, but I'm an alien to this world. Like, I'm looking through the eyes of a stranger almost. Like, I'm not even present.
Like that when you're dreaming, where you're having the outer body experience.
Yeah, it's happened. That's why sometimes I get afraid to fall asleep because of that. One time, it was the wildest thing. I'm sleeping on the couch. I woke up and I feel like this dog sitting on top of me. And I was like, oh, it's my sister's dog. And my sister doesn't have a dog. I guess I was in between dreaming. The scariest part was I heard something on the door, like somebody pulling or banging on the door. I was like, ooh. I just screamed and went upstairs and I'm trying to hide. And I'm watching the video replay back because we had a camera in front of our house to show the front door. No one there. I just hallucinated the whole thing. That's creepy.
Yeah, very creepy. Hypnopompic and hypnagogic hallucinations, very scary stuff. All your senses are alive. Your sense of taste, smell, hearing, everything is so alive. So everything feels real. You don't know when you wake up if that really did happen or not, unless you have a camera for proof or someone to ask, did this just happen? You can't be sure.
It's scary. But it's nice that I have my husband now. Like, when I wake up from a nightmare, I'll just touch him and be like, oh yeah, you're there. You're right here.
It's only a dream. It's only a hallucination.
Try that in public.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man. One time I was on a bus, public transportation, and there was something on the floor, dice, and I could have sworn up, down, left, and right that it was a mouse. I actually stood up, I put my feet up, and then I came to, and I'm like, oh, it's just a children's toy on the floor. Always I've been thinking, like, what's wrong with this girl?
You have to laugh these things off, otherwise you'll cry, because it's just, how can the brain make this stuff up?
Can't make this stuff up. That's the whole beauty of it. That's the reality. I'd rather make videos that show, okay, because I'm not making this stuff up, it's actually entertaining because I can't explain it to people, but I can help them cope and feel better about it and just be like, you're not alone. This stuff happens. And I've seen videos where people are so upset and crying over it. And they're just like, I know, I've been there.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if medication is not my option,
I have to live with it.
exactly. And sometimes cracking jokes is the best thing you can possibly do. And it makes life more fun.
Yeah. And after all, life is for living. I know a couple of people who are not on medication. One, because her body can't tolerate it. Another person who used to be on, but now she purposely has taken herself off because she's in a different stage of life.
Yeah.
She's out of the house and everything. And so she feels that the side effects of medications give is more detrimental, causing other problems for her health than not being on medication at all.
Yeah.
So to save herself getting other illnesses that you get when you're on too much medication, she just manages the narcolepsy her own way. And as she doesn't have those responsibilities that she did before when she was younger, she can do that.
And that's one of the things I want people to know too, is that there's no right or wrong way to handle narcolepsy or cataplexy. Everyone has to figure out their own way to manage it. There are things that help. Obviously, I drink tea. It doesn't always get me through. I still need naps. It got me through today. I took a nap before we signed on. And I was like, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, hoping and praying. I'm like, just 20 minutes, make sure I hear the alarm. And I heard the alarm, so it worked. But yeah, if I don't set the alarm, these naps are like
hours on
Yeah, I can relate to that. Since I've been doing the interviews since January, people have been saying this a lot. When you go to the doctors, they say, you must only take half an hour nap. And almost every person I've talked to has been saying the opposite, that they need hours of naps. I don't know where the doctors are getting this information from because they made it seem like everyone was taking half an hour nap. Everyone I've been talking to from other parts of the world is telling me it's something completely different.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it's longer. Like sometimes I don't even hear the alarm, or I'll sit down and I know I'm tired because the screen's looking a little cloudy, and I'm just getting 5 minutes. 5 minutes turned into hours, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh,
those are the best ones. Like you say, I'm just going to close my eyes for 5 minutes. And you wake up and it's been 3 hours or 2 hours. And you think, oh, wow, how did it get so, how did that? And it doesn't feel like you slept for that long.
yeah.
It
And I
really
think,
does feel like you just had 15 minutes. And you're just like, what in the wow?
yeah, I know. And I also feel like another thing is that people shouldn't be afraid to ask for accommodations either. And that's a tricky one. It's a hard line. But I noticed one of my jobs, and I did get let go from that one, but I was literally trying to make an appointment for someone, and I'm on the computer screen and I can't click save to save her appointment. And I'm writing her appointment down, but I had no clue where I put it in the schedule. I had to call her and be like, oh, there was a computer problem. It wasn't a computer problem. It was me because I was basically going into REM in front of her. I'm having a conversation with her.
You were doing
Yeah.
something and your brain had already shut down.
Yeah. It was rough. I looked at my coworker and I'm like, here, take over for me. But sometimes it doesn't help. Sometimes those little tricks don't do anything. And that's the hard part. That can be the frustrating part. I want to participate, but I'm not with it. I want to spend time with family. I want to spend time with people.
Do you find that draining, like socializing and stuff sometimes?
Depends on what the socialization is. If we're doing an activity with friends, or if I'm in class, then it's different. I've had cataplexy happen in class. Like one of the things is the teachers would use us as like demonstration for the younger levels, for the earlier
Oh.
levels. So in one of them, the one instructor grabbed my wrist and I started laughing. Next thing you know, I'm on the floor and she's, what happened? And I'm like, I just thought it was funny because you're so nice. She's such a nice person. They're such nice people. My instructors are so nice.
Yeah, of what?
A grip for a nice woman. Inspiring me though, because no, I'm the one with it.
The strong grip.
I got to brown belt before I had to take time off.
Oh, that
Yeah. So I was in brown belt for at least 2 years. And my memory doesn't work the way it should.
it's definitely narcolepsy, and it changes over time. The older you get, it starts to change. I remember when mine changed. It must have been like 5, 6 years ago it happened, and I remember because something that usually took me half an hour to do on the computer for work was taking me an hour to do. I know how to do this. It's half an hour activity. Why is it taking me 1 hour? It's like my brain was deteriorating. When I was trying to explain it to my friends, they wouldn't understand. One of my aunts, a social worker, and he said they wouldn't understand because they're too young. If you say this to an older person, maybe someone in their 70s, they could relate. They remember what they were like when they were 30 and know how their brain functions now. 30-year-old is not going to know that because they haven't been through a stage that their brain has started to change. But mine just happened overnight. And it never was the same after that. I really could feel the difference. It just took me physically longer to do tasks that I could do really quickly before. My memory's not as sharp. I
Yeah.
have to write everything down, otherwise I forget.
I love doing analytics, so I like to break down things and know why they're there. I'm a philosopher by nature,
Yeah.
and that's when I got my bachelor's. And it's cool because I get to use it. But I like breaking down things into analytics and logic. There's all these grids in my notes. And my husband is like, "What is all that? This looks like some weird math equation." And I was like, "It's not math. It's just trying to turn my notes because I feel like if I have it visually in front of me, then it's going to help me trigger the memory."
Yes.
And I've been doing a memory meditation. I'm sitting in the classroom. The professor is standing right there. It's just me and the professor. No one else in the classroom. Like I'm trying to receive the information. If I have a question, I know exactly what because I've been in class and especially studying for the first responder test. So, okay, I'm gonna picture standing in the room, the PowerPoint behind. Now I know
Mhm.
I'm seeing the PowerPoint because my visual memory is better than my reading memory. So I use visual a lot. And if I can remember what's on the screen, maybe don't have
Yeah.
to. I've been trying that. So we'll see how it gets. The problem is the way I wrote my notes, the cues that I use. I wrote the same word a million times. I need to ask for help.
So you weren't sleeping when he wrote those.
I probably missed a word. But not every word is valuable. Not every word is going to be said because they obviously sugarcoat it. They downgrade it for us. The problem is in reading the book, it's some 600 plus pages and they could take questions from anywhere in the book. So you really have no. So it's taking a lot longer to study for this test than I would like. But my kung fu teacher reminded me that there is no time limit in life. Only put time limits on ourselves. So if we
That's
say,
so
"Oh, I
true.
gotta do this X amount of time," and we don't get there and get disappointed,
Yeah, that is
you you don't have to worry about, "Am I gonna get there?" But everyone does it at their own pace. I guess that's applicable to life, especially with narcolepsy. We do have to take it at our own pace. There's nothing bad about it. There's no shame about it. It just is what it is.
I totally agree with that. That brings us to our special question. Christina, if you could press a red button, and by pressing this red button, you get rid of narcolepsy, would you press the button and why?
Oh, good question. I don't think I would. I would like to be more awake. Yes, of course, everybody would. But it's part of my identity. This is something I lived with for over 20 years. And it would be nice to have more energy, hopefully find that medication that would work to do it with having less side effects because I really didn't feel happy counting calories.
Mm.
I was a serial dieter, like Weight Watchers, and I did keto, and I did all of those, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't
Mm.
any happier in a smaller body. My body prefers being in a slightly larger body. I've had to
Mhm.
learn to accept that. And I eat vegetables. I like my proteins and all that. I like eating what people call healthy food. I have salads and everything, but I also have snacks. I enjoy eating. When my stomach was really bad, I couldn't get that in, and my brain was feeling the consequences. Now that I have a more balanced diet and more balanced lifestyle, do movement. There's some videos like where I do gentle movement where like I'll post those and it's these little movements that we make with our body. Even though they might seem small, they're significant.
Yes.
It still counts as movement. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just our bodies need that during the day. I want to move. I want to dance around the kitchen. I want to dance around the living room and play with the dogs. I find that when I move around, the cataplexy doesn't affect me if I'm already in motion, unless I'm just exhausted. My lifestyle right now is a lot. My blood work is perfect, minus vitamin D, which was painfully low. It was non existent, but I think it's probably I spend more time sleeping indoors and going outside.
Right.
And I have this dog to go
Yeah.
out times a day.
More. Yeah.
But I know they said sunshine could help. Sometimes the sun makes me more tired, though.
Definitely.
I notice that it's like depending on how hot the weather is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll wake me up. One time I was in the middle of running at this. It was bad that one day because I was hungry. So when I get super hungry, if I don't snack, as soon as I eat, the narcolepsy gets worse. And it's just like, all right, my brain feels better. My food in my body, yeah, it feels good. And then 5 minutes later, I'm crashed out in the car.
Yeah.
That's because I let myself get too hungry at that point. I made the mistake of not bringing a snack. And in fact, when we flew on the way home, that's exactly what happened. I took a little bit of medication to soothe the anxiety. We were on the bus to the airport. I was so hyped up with adrenaline because I was so anxious about getting through TSA and everything that I stayed awake throughout that first flight. But then as soon as we got food,
That was it.
that was it. I had taken a tablet and I had closed my eyes on the ground. And next thing I know, we're already landed and getting off the plane. It was an hour long, but I'm like,
It's like it didn't happen.
I'm wondering, well, that's perfect for me because I don't like to feel it. I just don't like to feel the movement. Sometimes when you feel like the turbulence, it can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's also normal. And I know that. I wish I could just feel better about it.
I love flying, but I tend of recent, I'm falling asleep before the takeoff.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to have the takeoff because I like flying, and then I wake up, and then we're already in the sky, and I've missed it.
What do you like about it?
No, I just love planes. I've always liked planes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last 2 years, my thing I sleep to is the Alexa sound is airplane. The sound
Yeah.
when you're in the airplane, that wind
Yeah.
sound. Yeah.
I can understand that. It is soothing once you're up there.
Yeah. Once you're up there.
What about you? Would you press the magic button?
When I was asked this, I said no, I wouldn't press it at the time because it's like I've lived more of my life with narcolepsy than without it. Started when I was 15. So
Yeah.
I have more memories with it than I have without. And I've met so many people that I would never have met if I didn't have this illness or this community. I think as much as I am very kind and empathetic and really good friend as a person, it's even exacerbated those attributes more.
Yeah.
Having the narcolepsy and being able to empathize and reach out to other people and help other people, I wouldn't press the button. The last person I interviewed thought it was a trick question. And I said, it's not a trick question. If someone had asked me last week when I was sleeping a lot, like 12 hours a day, and not accomplishing much in the day, luckily we're on half term. I'm not having to get up to alarms and my sister calling me constantly to make sure that I'm actually out of bed. The alarm went off and she rang me and she's like, Kelly, have you gotten up? And I'm like, yeah, I've gotten up. And she's like, so why can't I see any light? Yeah. And I am miserable with her the whole time until I get on the bus, yeah. And she's like, joy and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I want to punch her. She's lucky she's not here. She's like on the phone. And she's like, did you get out of bed? Or I'll call you back in half an hour. And then she'll call me back and she'll be like, how comes I can't see any? That means you didn't get out of bed. And sometimes she won't come off the phone. She's like, come on, get out of bed, put your foot over the bed, get out. She won't disappear until I'm physically out of the bed. You're just grouchy in the morning anyway, like so miserable. And I've recently found out it's called sleep inertia. I didn't even know there was a name for it. It's understandable why you can't get out of bed and it's painful. The
Oh,
morning.
I can't even tell you how many jobs I got threatened to lose because I wouldn't show up late. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but
Just can't.
it's like physically incapable.
The amount of spoons we have to use just to get up off the bed.
Exactly. And that's what people don't get.
We had 20 spoons for the day. I'm telling you, 10 of them was used just to wake up.
When I work, I want to have a job. Right now, my job is just staying at home with the dogs and blogging and posting social media. But I also feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. And if I don't post, someone else is going to find the wrong thing.
Yes, I agree.
I'd rather be a voice of experience.
Oh, thank you for doing that. Can you let everyone know what your handle is so that they can find you?
Called Gourmet Recovery. So GOURMET. And then it's a capital G and then a capital R. So RECOVERY. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, so everyone check out Gourmet Recovery and Cristina. Cristina, it was lovely having you on and hearing about your story and how you use humor to battle narcolepsy and cataplexy. Thank you for coming on.
It was a pleasure meeting you as well, and Liz too. Let her know I said thank you.
Yeah, I will.
That was lovely.
So at the end, we usually say, happy napping, everyone.
Happy napping, everyone.
Views and opinions in these stories may not work for everyone. If anything you have heard is relatable, please see a doctor for advice. Thank you for spending time here with us at Narcolepsy Navigators. I hope you learned something new. Please share the podcast with others. You can find us on all platforms. See you next time when we delve into another person's story. Narcolepsy Navigators is produced by a team of volunteers working for the Naps for Life CIC, which is a non-profit group dedicated to improving the lives of people with sleep disorders through community action. You can help grow our podcast and join our sleep disorder support group by visiting the website www.napsforlife.com. If you or someone you know has a sleep disorder and would like to share your story on Narcolepsy Navigators, please email us at narcolepsynavigators@gmail.com. You can also support us by donating at the website. Happy napping, everyone!